Hi everyone, this is Randy, your rare metals guy here. The news around the world has been rather interesting over the last few weeks. We have Iran trading oil for gold instead of petrodollars. The Greek crisis still has not been solved, while Italy, Spain, and Portugal are struggling to stay solvent. China has signed 14 currency swap agreements bypassing the US dollar. The Federal Reserve has announced that it will keep interest rates at or near zero until 2014. The U.S. has just raised its debt limit once again with little opposition. We all know that 2012 is an election year in the U.S., which usually means very little will be done in Washington. So what will we see this year? Will we see deflation or will we see inflation? Currently, I hear news out of the U.S. and here locally in Panama that items are going up in price. I just spent a week in San Jose, Costa Rica, where 1 liter of Coca-Cola was $2.50 American. Here, in Panama, the same liter of Coke is $1.25. They were just forced here in Panama to raise the minimum wage to $500 from $370, just so people could afford to survive. You can imagine the repercussions. Many businesses will have to let employees go in order to keep the doors open. Here in Panama, we use the dollar as our currency. Who is to blame for the inflation we are seeing? It is not the printing press's fault. It is the powers behind the printing press. Way back on November 21st, 2002, there was a Federal Reserve governor named Ben Bernanke who gave a speech to the National Economists Club. In this speech, he outlined exactly what he would do if he was chairman of the Federal Reserve in the instance of a financial crisis or depression in the United States. Here are the 5 steps that he said he would do. Number 1, the Federal Reserve would lower the interest rates to 0. Well, he already did that. Number 2, he would purchase securities from banks, for example, General Motors and Chrysler. Already did that. Number 3, he would increase the money supply, which he's been doing for a couple years now. Number 4, he would buy countries' debt. Quantitative easing 1, quantitative easing 2, quantitative easing 3, quantitative easing infinity. It doesn't look like it's going to end, does it? And number 5, the big kicker, is the devaluation of the US dollar. I will not go into each of these scenarios individually. We all know that points 1 through 4 are already in play. The one that has not occurred yet is the devaluation of the dollar. Mr. Bernanke calls himself a student of the Depression. He has studied the Federal Reserve actions during that time. On April 3rd, 1933, President Roosevelt declared the Presidential Order 6102. And here is the order, exact words. It says, all persons are hereby required to deliver on or before May 1st, 1933, to a Federal Reserve Bank or a branch or agency thereof, or to any member of the bank of the Federal Reserve System, all gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates now owned by them or coming into their ownership on or before April 28, 1933. At this time, gold was valued at $20 per ounce. Shortly after the gold confiscation was completed, the Federal Reserve revalued gold at $35 per ounce, or a 40% devaluation of the currency. Remember that at this time, the dollar was backed by gold. Now, it is not. It's only backed by the promises of the government. In my mind, Mr. Bernanke is telling us what he is going to do next if the economy does not respond to the other 4 measures that he has implemented, is he will devalue our currency. I just saw an article today, it was really funny. It's from Forbes, and a gentleman thinks that the Federal Reserve is going to devalue the currency by 33%. Well, I think he'll copy Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the Federal Reserve back in the 30s when they devalued by 40%. Okay, so what would a 40% devaluation of the US dollar do to your savings if everything in US dollars or a currency pegged to the dollar is devalued? The devaluation of the US dollar would be great for gold, silver, home values, debt, and the stock market. What about the people that do not have hard assets? People who live off Social Security, government subsidies, fixed incomes, and savings. What will happen to them? They're going to take a big hit. It's going to be like a 40% discount on their money overnight. Imagine tomorrow you wake up and your savings has been devalued 40%. This is what those folks are going to feel. Growing up, I was taught that putting your savings in the bank was important. Today, it seems that the idea is no longer valid. What Mr. Bernanke has told us is that he will devalue the currency in order for the country to continue to have growth. What are you doing to protect your family and your future? To see the whole text of the article, you can go to the link below, and I look forward to you come by and leaving your comments. Thank you, and you have a great day.